Hello friends, good afternoon. So this is a small announcement on the new Azure batch which I'm planning to start from 3rd February and which is going to start from morning 8 to 9. So let me quickly share the details for the same. So in this training, I'm planning to cover Azure Admin, Azure Architect, and Azure DevOps. Major will focus on Admin and Azure DevOps, and Architect will cover a couple of scenarios where, in your day-to-day perspective, you're working as an implementation engineer, how you can understand the low-level design and then do the deployments. That part will cover. Now, from the entire cloud architect perspective, so I think you also need to have an AWS and other cloud knowledge, right? So that is something we'll not be able to cover off here, but yeah, we'll definitely cover admin and Azure DevOps. And you can join the free demo sessions initially. Three demo sessions are free, so you can utilize the time and then join by clicking this link. And we are spending around 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes to cover of this whole program, and it's going to be Monday to Saturday. So in this training, what I'm majorly trying to focus on admin architect, Azure DevOps, along with the Terraform. So in Terraform, we'll touch upon the basic Terraform deployments and day-to-day operations, and then what sort of deployments that you do when it comes to IAC that we cover off. But yeah, if you want to go in deep and then do the Terraform deployment end-to-end IAC management, that is something on DevOps training that you can opt in later stage. Right. So on course fee, if you go with the two installments, it's going to be 18,000, and then a single payment you'll get a 4,000 discount. It's going to be 14,000. So roughly around 45 to 55 days or roughly 2 months I need to cover up this program. And I've created a WhatsApp group for the same. You can join and then see you can collaborate with the other students who are looking for the same training, and then collaboratively you can search for a job. So I have uploaded a few demos here, and then the WebEx link, the same shortcut URL I have mentioned here. So the WebEx link and the meeting ID is mentioned. If you want to join from the mobile, you can simply click on and join from the mobile as well. Okay. So let me go to the course content and quickly share the course content for the same. Oh, Azure. Right. So we'll start off with the cloud basics, where we're going to see the cloud service models and then how you're going to set up your environment and what you will do in terms of your day to day when you connect to the customer environment, how to prepare your system that can support the day to day operations. That is something we'll discuss here at the very basic level. And then we'll also spend some traditional on-premise knowledge gaining purpose, or I would say to understand the cloud better. We'll try and spend 1 or 2 sessions on the theoretical towards the on-premise, how you are working in the current role, and how you're going to transition into the cloud. That is something we'll spend some time around that. And then we'll start off with the Azure networking, and we'll start off with the Azure network security and advanced security using the firewalls, and then virtual machines, and then storage. So in short, if I want to cover off network, server, storage, that is something we're planning to cover off in the initial 6 modules. And then we'll talk about backup and recovery. Then we'll move on to the platform as a service model offerings like PaaS databases, PaaS applications, meaning your app services, function app, logic apps, and other stuff, how you're going to deploy and manage it. That is something we're going to spend. And implementing an Azure Entra ID, I mean, from a security standpoint, how you will integrate your on-premise AD with the Azure and then provide the role-based access control within the Azure, Azure DevOps, and Office 365 and other areas. So that is something we're going to discuss here. Then we'll spend some time around the microservice architecture, how you're gonna develop and deploy the Docker applications, and how you will manage the Kubernetes cluster and all that we will see here. And then we'll talk about implementing the automation solution like run books, workbooks, desired state configuration, right? And then your resource graph scripts and what I'll say, the cluster queries and other stuff that we will discuss over here. Then moving on to the other module, day-to-day operations perspective, diagnostics, monitoring, reporting, troubleshooting, and other stuff. So that we will see how we can configure the login network space and then run the cluster queries and alerts, and then create a dashboard using the cluster queries and stuff that we will see. Then implementing the high availability when it comes to designing a high available solution using the load balancer, then using Azure DNS and the standard load balancer application gateway, which is also another high availability solution provider, right? Then we'll talk about the traffic manager profile. We'll talk about the front door and other stuff, which is part of the high availability and solution designing, and all these sessions, okay, starting from 15 or yeah, starting from 14 until 18. So these 5 sessions, we're going to cover off through the Terraform. Okay, so we will deploy the Terraform, and then we'll test the high availability. We'll see the failover and other stuff. Okay, within or we'll say we'll test the high availability within the same region and across the region also. Okay, so now moving on to the scaling, how we can deploy and manage the virtual machine scale sets. That is something we're going to discuss here. Then we'll spend some time around migrating the workloads from the on-premise using cloud native tools or Azure native tools that we will cover off here. And then moving on to the management governance and policies and stuff, how we're going to set the benchmarks and how we're going to set up the landing zone, how we're going to set up the policies that we will spend here. Then we'll jump onto the automation part. I'll spend some time around the Packer and spend some time around the Azure CLI and CloudForm, the bicep templates. We'll try to see ARM templates, and then we'll see how you can deploy using the what I'll say image template within the Azure. So these kind of automated tasks that we will see from an automation perspective. Then one of the advanced automation, and obviously even though you are working as an Azure administrator, you're responsible to manage the day-to-day operation side of the DevOps. So we'll try spend some time around the Azure DevOps boards and tasks and how you will handle, and then set up the pipelines, the repos, and then your what I'll say CI/CD using YAML, and then how you can deploy the application, how you're going to deploy the infrastructure using the Azure DevOps. That is something we'll focus here. And at the end, we'll talk about the certification and what's the roadmap for the next couple of months learning, and then updating your CV to meet the competitive market. So that is main focus here. So we're going to, I will not say it's going to be 100% hands-on or real time, but we're going to say uh, 60 to 70% will do hands-on more, and a couple of scenarios where there are some limitations, like the lab environment won't be supported to test the end-to-end kind of let's say example, your express route, okay, or your Cosmos DB file integrations with the or Cosmos DB application integration. So these sort of things, what we can do is we can theoretically discuss, right? And then we'll see how these implementations will be taken care in the real-time customer role. That is also we can discuss. But only thing is, due to the infrastructure unavailability, we'll have to go through some theoretical understanding of, let's say, 25 to 30%. But yeah, rest of the scenarios what is mentioned here in the course content is mostly we'll try with the hands-on mode. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, it's going to start from 3rd February, Monday, morning 8 o'clock. So initial few demos are free. So please feel to join, and then you can decide later on once the demos are over. So if you have any questions, I have my mobile number mentioned in the description and email ID also. So you can reach out to me, and I'll be able to help you out if it is in my scope. So yeah, thank you, and I'll see you on the demo day.